Hello everyone, this is Pid TMS, and today I'm going to be starting what I hope to be a fruitful Let's Play experience for Star Citizen in the 3.8 alpha branch. So essentially with 3.8 they've added a few features, and in theory they're supposed to really cut down on the amount of wipes that they do in between minor patches. So I'm hoping that this series will be kind of an experience of a brand new player starting out from scratch. So I made a new account, and I have opted to go with the Avenger Titan package, which you can check out from the RSI website. It's a $60 package that gives you an Avenger Titan starter ship to start playing in the verse. So essentially what I hope to accomplish here is just give an idea of what it's like for myself and for anybody that might happen to watch these videos, what it's like to start from scratch in the universe in Alpha 3.8. So I guess we'll get started right away. First thing that you're going to do is have to make your character, and I generally use this guy and blend him with this guy a little bit. So somewhere in between there, and I give him not that one. Essentially this hair. I think that's close enough to mine. And then eyes wise, brown eyes. So your standard average Joe. Nothing special about this guy. Alright. And when you get to the first login screen here, it gives you the opportunity to pick where you want to start out. So I think for the purpose of this video, we're going to start in Area 18. Starts you on the planet instead of in Port Alisar, which is a small space station. Gives the opportunity to walk around, see the sights to start with. So as we kind of work through this, if anyone wants me to show a specific aspect of the game, let me know. We're going to be starting out with a small ship that will allow for some a small variety of missions, maybe some hauling missions, some delivery missions, and some mercenary / bounty hunter missions. But we won't be able to do some major cargo hauling or mining or anything like that until we save up enough money to do so. Alright, so as we spawn in, we hit the Y key to get up out of bed. And essentially, it starts us out pretty much with just a undersuit and a helmet that we can fly around in space in. So that's pretty much all we have to start with. And I don't believe that you can do anything with these. Press F1 to pull up our mobi-glass, and it's a little glitchy sometimes. But due to the fact that I used a referral code from my other account, I started with 5,000 alpha UAC. So I would suggest if you're going to purchase the game to get started playing, that you definitely want to get a referral code from somebody. If you need one, feel free to use mine. I'm going to link it in the description below. But if you have a friend of yours that plays Star Citizen, by all means, go ahead and use theirs, and they get you get credits, alpha UAC credits, and they get essentially some small perks in the game for the more people that they get to subscribe. So good for you, good for them. Definitely encourage you to do that. So, starting out, we're going to have a ship, and that's just about it. So, I think, actually, now that I think of it, it may start us out with a sidearm. Yeah, weapons-wise, we start out with a arclight energy pistol, and that's pretty much it. No armor, except for the, I mean, they consider the helmet armor, but that's it. So if we get in any scraps, we're gonna have a pistol with about 5 shots or something. I don't know how many it has. Little pop gun to try and get us out of trouble. So I'm thinking that based on that we have a ship that can do a couple of different things, we will start off with maybe either some delivery missions or possibly even some mercenary type missions to start with. So we'll see what's available once we get to our ship. As you leave the Habs at our corp in Area 18, you have the opportunity to possibly come over here and upgrade some things. You only have 5,000 credits, so there's not a whole lot you can do. But I would definitely suggest, if they're available, to get a couple of med pens. It would be pretty handy, which you can get from going to the utility tab and purchasing med pens. They're not terribly expensive, so and for whatever reason, they only have a limited supply. So at this point, 2 is the most that I can get. So 2 is a reasonable number. So we're going to go ahead and just get 2. And then possibly even get an oxygen pen if for some reason you might need it. You accidentally walk out of an airlock without your helmet on or something. They're cheap enough, you know. Just get one to have on you. As far as weapons go, I mean, like I said, you don't have a ton of money to start with, so you may want to get one besides your pistol. Multi-tool is not a bad thing to get, but really for anything you're going to want to do with it, you're going to need the mining attachment, which I don't believe they sell here. I think you have to go to Levski, and they may have it on one other location. I'm not sure. I know the oh no, you can get the mining attachment here. So that's relatively useful, so it might be worth your while to get this. So let's get one of those, and we will get a multi-tool if that's something we wind up doing. So if you look, as just having your flight suit, essentially, you don't have a lot of inventory. If you hit this little button here, it's going to say that you have 0 SP of inventory space. So you would need some kind of armor or whatever that has inventory space to be able to haul stuff around if you do that first-person mining, which I'm not entirely certain if they sell it here. Let's see if they do. Oh, the rucksack core is exactly what you would need, which is 3,100 alpha UEC credit. Okay, folks, we're back again. I did have a error that booted me out of the game, so restarted from the Habs and ran back down here right away. I did note in the patch notes that 3.8 isn't quite as stable as 3.72 was, so it'll be interesting to see if we get booted out from time to time. To be quite honest, with 3.8 in the PTU, I didn't get booted out ever. But don't you know it, the first time in the live servers, that I'm playing that I get booted first time. So, you know, it's alpha. It happens. So again, we were looking at this armor for the MacFlex rucksack. Essentially, it gives you this giant backpack so you can haul around mineable items that you do first person. It's 3,100 credits, alpha UEC credits, but which will take most of what we have in our wallet. So it, you know, if it's something we wind up doing, it's not bad. We should be able to make some money right away. If we're not doing hauling missions, we won't need the money to start with. So we'll just, I guess, you know, if we buy this kind of, you know, seals our fate, so to speak. So we won't be doing hauling missions. We can do delivery missions, I suppose, and some either bounty hunter / mercenary missions would be okay too. So now that we've spent all our money, we are going to equip what we've just purchased. Hit F1 and then go in and click on this equipment manager icon down here, and what we're going to do is equip our rucksack core. You can see that gives us a nice big backpack, and then what that also does is it gives us some room to attach some things here. So we don't have any grenades, but we do have the med pen, which is equipped, and then we can equip this oxy pen. And then what we're going to do is actually equip that utility item, the multi-tool, and then you also have to equip the attachment to it. So if we do find any hand minables, we can use this tool to mine them. Additionally, we have this weapon. You know what? We should actually see if we can get a spare magazine or two. So let's actually do that before we run out the door. And weapons, attachment, so Arclight energy pistol battery. They're pretty cheap, 7 alpha UAC. You can definitely afford to buy. You can buy all of them. They had 5 in stock, we bought 5. Looks good. So just real quick, we're gonna equip those. Same way, go to weapons, spare weapon magazine, and we're gonna put them all on there. So we won't be able to do a lot of fighting, but if we do get into a scrap or so, we'll have a couple of rounds of ammunition to get us through. So now that we have gotten some equipment, we're going to head out and try and find our ship, and then we will see what kind of missions we want to do. So head off this way to try and find the spaceport. See the sights while we're at it. Big gear ball in the middle of this area. The holograms are cool. Looks like a soda pop or something. Definitely, I think they added more of the NPCs walking around and kind of interacting with their surroundings for this patch. So make the world feel a little bit more alive. Definitely makes it a little bit more immersive, which is pretty great. Makes it, even if you are on, I mean, in the future, if you get to a point where you're in a place where there's hardly anybody else around as far as a real person, there'll still be NPCs running around, which will make you not feel as lonely. I'm curious to see how much that will be the case. I mean, space is enormous, and if we have, depending on how many people you have playing this game and how they end up having to work out their servers, how frequently are you going to actually run into people? I don't know. I mean, I would anticipate they would have some in-game mechanic to draw people together to the same place for some reason, whether it's a new mineable area or something like that, where people have identified an area that has significant resources or something like that, and then all the people come flocking to it, and then as you have people interacting, and you'll have the NPCs that are going to be in the game as well, that are interacting with it. You're bound to run into either people or NPCs and get into scraps and interact with them in whatever way that suits the character that you're trying to play. So every now and again, it's nice to just take a second to just kind of look at this game that they've developed so far, which is it's just immense, and it's only still in alpha, which is pretty amazing. But the amount of detail that they've put into it is pretty incredible. So Riker Memorial Spaceport.
Now arriving.
A little homage to Star Trek: The Next Generation. So these terminals here are the fines and citation terminals, which I've only actually used once. But if you happen to get a parking fine or some other fines that you will incur due to the law system in the verse, this is where you would wind up paying them. So you log in and it'll tell you. Currently, obviously, since we just started this account and this character, and on this new alpha, there's no fines. But if you were to have any penalties, they would be listed here, and then this would give you the opportunity to pay them. Now, I'm not certain if they're at the space stations or you have to actually log into, or into an actual city. But so yeah, that's what they look like. You just saw another set that as I ran by. Alright, so this is the ship retrieval console. Interact with it. Everything you interact with, you interact with by holding F. That brings up what's called the inner thought system. And as you can see here, we have one ship. That's the only one we have. Focus is courier, so essentially there's it has a little bit of storage. It has cargo capacity of 8 SCU and can hold 1 crew.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Alright, so we're going to be in Hangar 3. And as you can see, the little pip pops up on your screen to tell you where the direction that your ship's in. Which really is meaningless when you go down these elevators, because I think of them like a Wonkavator if you've ever read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But these things can go up ways and down ways and sideways and diagonal ways, and you walk into them and the magic doors open and it whisks you away, and then they brings you to wherever your ship is. So it said we were in Hangar 3, so it gives you the opportunity to go to any hangar and whisks you away. And if you can tell if you're moving, because your little pip will start moving around. All right, so there is our ship. Now the Avenger Titan is the $60 package. There is a $40 package, which you can get one of two, a little less high-end ships. Not that this is tremendously high-end, but I mean, for an extra $20, I thought this was kind of the way to go. The starter ships are, they're definitely starter ships. Alright, so now that we're in our ship, you hold F and you look around until you find the flight ready. Don't accidentally hit the ejection button. Alright, Alright, where is... flight ready. So, hit flight ready and it turns everything on. It'll turn your shields on, your engines on, your weapons it activates, all those sorts of things.
Shields recharging. Shields up.
So when you first get in your ship and turn it on, it takes a little bit for your shields to charge up, so definitely don't get into any scraps right away. And just a quick look around the cockpit, you can see this is each dashboard is different depending on the ship that you're in, but essentially this is kind of your radar. This is your shield status, and you can kind of see you know, these numbers are going up, so the shields are charging. And then this is kind of your energy loadout, how you've allocated it. It looks like a flux capacitor, but you can move this around depending on the keys that you use on your keyboard, or in my case I'm actually using an add-on app called Game Glass, which I highly recommend for people starting out, because it just takes away a lot of the guesswork as far as remembering what keys do what. And then down here you have your weapons loadout. Up here in your HUD you have your fuel. This is your countermeasures, how many G-forces you're being subjected to, whether your landing gear's up or down. I believe this is your what kind of flight mode you're in. And then this is your speed gauge here, so your velocity, and this line here is your limiter. So essentially, if wherever you have this line set and you move it based on with your mouse wheel, and wherever that is set, that is the maximum amount of speed that your craft will get to. So they're going to kick me out here in a second if I don't hurry up. But essentially, in order to take off and land, you have to contact the space station, or the airport, or starport in this case. So what you do is you go over to the comm link, go to contacts, and click on this thing, and it'll contact the landing service.
You are clear to launch.
So what you can see that you contact them, and then they open the canopy up there, which will let you out. And then spacebar will let you take off vertically. And then your WS keys are forward and back. So I'm using keyboard and mouse at the moment. You know, eventually I have played with dual joysticks, which is what I intend to do for any kind of dogfighty type stuff. But I don't have them hooked up at this point. This is pretty much just, you know, I don't anticipate doing anything terribly difficult or encountering enemies that are going to be that difficult that I need to pull out the dual joysticks yet. So as you're taking off and as you're heading out, you know, hit N to bring up your landing gear, and you can see here, you hit it again. Landing gear extends. Landing gear up. So this is the ship that we're flying, which is, I don't know, it's a pretty neat looking ship. It looks almost like an airplane. Looks like I'm flying around in circles here. So anyway, you want to leave the planet atmosphere, and again, if you let off W or S or your throttle, it'll revert back down to 0. So what you can do is hit C, and that is essentially cruise control. So this little arrow comes up next to your speed, showing you that the cruise control's on. As you can see here, I'm increasing my maximum velocity Anything in where you see the red in the velocity area, that's going to let you know that you're exceeding the amount of speed where your ship can handle. Essentially, if you try maneuvering at these speeds, anything in the red, your responsiveness will be less and less and less. So your maximum maneuverability is going to be essentially when you're in the white section. Alright, so as we're kind of leaving the atmosphere, we can look to see if there are any missions around that we can pick up. So, essentially, if you click on this button here, it'll bring up the contract manager. Your general missions here are going to be the ones you probably want to stick to. They're going to be the ones that are more for law-abiding citizens. If you get into these personal ones, they can tend to be lead you down paths of getting crime stat. So, which is fine if that's kind of the gameplay you're looking for, but you're going to wind up getting into trouble with the law, and they're going to be shooting at you, and it's going to limit where you can go. But for the purposes of this, we're going to just start looking at the general tab here, and thing you should definitely do is pick up this call to arms mission here. What it'll do is essentially, if you run into anything that has a crime stat, they're going to pay you if you take them down. No questions asked. So always have that mission active. And then also, if you're just starting out right now, I would avoid this boarding action in progress, urgent boarding action in progress mission. And this essentially is it should be done in with at least 2 or 3 people. I think it's designed for 4 people. I attempted it solo and I got partially through it, but there's definitely multiple NPCs that are going to be shooting at you there. So I would avoid it unless you can find a group of people. So I think these actually tell you where they are. I'm thinking like picking up some of these might be decent. Well, I mean, maybe we can try these. Not that one. These are quite a bit. I've not actually done any of those remove claim jumpers ones. So yeah, need to do jump by our difference. All right, claim holders, blah blah. Destroy the orbital sentries that are protecting this illegal operation and clear the site for Schumann repossession. This sounds like you'd have to go down and actually take out some people in FPS, which all I have is that one little pea shooter, so I'm going to avoid doing that. So I think we'll look into some of these delivery missions for now. And these are around Hurston, which I don't want to necessarily fly out there right now. Yeah, these are all seem to be out near Hurston. I think Kovalex might be in the area. So what we're going to do is we're going to just maybe take a couple of these. Alright, so we have 3 of them already selected, and what this is going to do is pick up a shipment from Humboldt Mines, pick up a shipment from 10 North Admin Office, and pick up the shipment from by Genie Point. So yeah, essentially we have these 3 missions picked up. So what we're going to end up doing is going to our navigation map here, and what you can do is you can see where they're at, and by the looks of it, I don't see them. So you're looking essentially for a little marker. And this your mileage can vary with these things, the star map, because it's a little cumbersome at times. But essentially, you're looking for a diamond. So, oh, is that it? No, that's ArcCorp. Did it actually say where these were? So let's make sure we're tracking that one, because we may have been tracking this, which wouldn't be anywhere. Oh yeah, here you go. So you're looking for this diamond here. So that's going to tell you where each of your missions is. So just to get an idea, we picked up 3. This one's on Lyria. We'll track this one, and that one is actually on ArcCorp itself, and this third one here is on, let's see where this person is. So that one is on ArcCorp too. So we've got 2 on ArcCorp to pick up, and then 1 on Lyria. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up these 2 ArcCorp first, and then run over to Lyria to grab the third one. Looks like this one is actually at the... Yeah, it's at the space station, so that will be our primary target. So there, it puts a marker on your map to pick it up, and away you go. So you should be able to fly right there with quantum travel by hitting B, and then once it spools and calibrates, you hold down B and it'll engage your quantum drive.
Quantum travel initiated. Quantum travel complete.
So that gets you a lot closer to your destination, and then you'll just have to fly there the rest of the way. So before you get into any fights, you can hit, essentially you can use this mode for targeting, which uses your mouse wheel, and it kind of your pip follows, or your guns will follow your pip. If you hit R, it locks them in the down to your flight. If you hit R again, it'll actually pull up this dotted circle, which is automated gimbals, which helps converge your targeting. Can be pretty helpful. It was pretty overpowered in the past. I'm not sure if they've adjusted it or to what extent they may have adjusted it, so that we'll have to see if we get into any fights. So this is telling us to pick this up from this station here. Oh, looking like we're pulling some major G's here about the blackout. So what we'll have to do is land and go in, and there's probably a container where we can pick this up. So we're gonna fly right down here, and then in order to land on a station, you have to do essentially the same exact opposite of what we did just before, and that's contact
Please proceed to sign
the landing station and they're going to assign you a landing pad. And in order to find it, you have to find... There should be what looks like a wrench icon, and that will be your landing pad. So there it is. So if you see that little wrench, that's essentially signifying the place that they've earmarked for you to land. If you land on any other platform, you will actually incur fines. So just be mindful not to do that if you can help it.
Proximity alert. Hit.
So if you get in close, you put your landing gear down with N, and then if you hold N while you're over the landing area,
Proximity alert. Aft. Automated landing initiated.
it'll initiate automated landing.
Landing complete.
So as your ship is parked here, what I tend to do is I will turn off... where are they? I will turn off the engines,
Engines offline.
but I'll leave the ship online. This keeps your shields charged and helps you kind of avoid any people that might be griefing you if they kind of run into your ship or bump your ship. Alright, so we're going to get out of this ship and run down in to retrieve our package. And always remember to close your door. Maybe. Oh, there it is. Because if you leave the door open, anybody can just run over there and fly off with your ship. Also remember, if you have people in a party, so you invite somebody to your party, and they will have access to your ship, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so we picked up, or we have gone here, and now it's asking us to pick up our shipment. So what we need to do is find out where that is. So head off this way and find out where the pickup location is, which I would anticipate is in... Looks like it's upstairs. It's in an is it usually in the admin area? Actually, it looks like it's right below me. So is it downstairs? I just missed it. I thought that machine there was the pickup location, but let me just make sure that I didn't miss it for some odd reason. No, I think the marker's just off. And apparently I just ran over something and broke my legs. Interesting. This is where the med pen would come in the yeah, so it's kind of glitchy. So if you have those med pens available, you can use them if you trip upstairs. A little glitchy. Alright, so I think this is where you can pick up your package. I think it's usually in the admin building. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to carry it all the way back to our ship. Okay, and this is going to take us all the way to Lorville, which is going to take a bit of time, but we'll see if there's anything else around that's has a closer destination. So, and I think I just got myself lost. Mind the step. They're not kidding, because you will break your legs if you're not careful, apparently. Alright, so I think the ships were over this way. Oh, yep, through here. Okay, so what you can do, because I don't remember what platform that was on, what you can do is look at this, and it says it's on pad 01. So then you can go to any elevator. Call the elevator, and then go to pad 01. And there's my ship. So I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down in the back of my ship, and then we're going to see if one of the other missions that we had that was close is on this platform as well. Because if it is, we can pick up both. And for the interest of time, I think if there's one closer, we'll do that one first, and then you know, conclude the video there. So what you can do is place this on your ship, and there it is. And then you can go, and what we're going to do is see if the other one that we have is also on the station. So we have this other one accepted. This one says we picked up the shipment. Now we need to deliver it to Lorville. This one, we're going to see if it's in the same place. I hate this. This star chart needs some work. So this one is actually on the planet in Area 18. So what I'm going to do is, rather than go pick that up, for the purposes of this video, we're just going to take the one out to ArcCorp. What I would do if I, you know, was doing this without being kind of a bit of a tutorial slash let's play, I would pick up a few all at once and make as many trips as I can. So, but for now, what we're going to do is we're just going to run to ArcCorp, and what I'll do is I will just abandon these two. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run to Lorville and drop that off. So that's going to actually take a bit of time, like in real time, but I'll edit that out so we can avoid that.
Flare ready.
So now, again, because we left everything running except for the engines, we just need to turn the engines back on.
Engines online.
Little delayed reaction there. So now what we need to do is make sure we're still tracking this guy, which we're not. And then what we're gonna have to do is find out where we have to go to Warville, which is there it is. Which is all the way in Hurston, which is you know, for your first time playing, that's a bit of a haul. It's actually going to take, you know, a fair amount of time in playtime.
We're sorry. You exceeded the allotted time to depart.
Uh-oh.
You'll have to return your ship to storage.
Launch complete.
So if you hear that and they're going to put your ship in storage, take off right away. Alright, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to fly to Hurston to be able to drop off this package, which is going to take some time, but essentially you do it the same way we quantum traveled to the space station. Spool up your quantum drive by hitting B, and then once it's spooled and calibrated, hold down B.
Quantum travel initiated. Landing gear retracted.
So again, this is going to take a fair amount of time. So to save just staring at the screen showing quantum travel, I'm going to leave the video running to record, but I'll edit out anything that's tedious or monotonous.
Emergency stop. Contact.
Like in this case, we've just found some pirates. So what we could do is we could try and take them out. And we should actually get some credits for that because of that mission that we picked up before.
Kill.
Alright, so we, you know, just for killing that guy we got 500 UAC, which is not bad. We got yanked out of quantum travel, but we made 500 credits in the process. So that being the case, we just jump right back into quantum.
Quantum travel initiated.
And if all goes well, we'll be able to get to Hurston in no time. Alright, so hopefully I'll be able to catch you guys on the other side of this trip. Unless we get yanked out of hyperspace, or out of quantum again.
Emergency stop.
Attention.
Okay.
Please hold for your vessel to be scanned.
So these ones, if you get pulled out of quantum for these are essentially, you know, the local authorities which are going to scan your ship. So all you have to do, as long as you don't have a crime stat or you're not hauling any contraband cargo, is just come to a complete stop. They'll scan your ship and then send you on your merry way.
Okay, thanks. You're clear to proceed.
So then just spool up your quantum drive again.
Quantum travel initiated.
And hopefully this time you won't get interrupted. So ideally you want to pick up these missions that allow you to, you know, stay local, because all this travel is just going to reduce the amount of time that you have to actually run more missions. So if you can find any of them that give you in the description, you know, where you're going to deliver it to, or the areas that you're going to start in and stop in, it's pretty handy. But traveling all the way back and forth from ArcCorp to Hurston is a considerable amount of real time sitting there just staring at the quantum travel. And in these kind of early ships, you know, whether you're in this ship, which is a little bit of an upgrade, or the starter ships, it's gonna take a while. So while we're traveling, I'm gonna pause the video and I will catch up with you when we get there. All right, we're getting close to coming into Hurston. We only got stopped those 2 times, so the rest of the trip was pretty uneventful. And just a little bit left to go. So you can see we started all the way back here in ArcCorp, and now are closing in on Hurston. Took about, you know, I think it's a little quicker than it used to be. I think they may have adjusted the speeds for quantum travel, but took about maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I might even be exaggerating a little bit there. So this actual scene looks pretty cool as you come out of quantum and the planet approaches really quick. So you can kind of see the planet coming into view behind all the HUD. There it is. All right. Looks like we're on the dark side of the planet, so we'll have to
Quantum travel complete.
run over to the other side. When you first come out of quantum, there's a cooldown period that you have to kind of go through, and then your HUD will come back up, which is kind of annoying, especially if you come out of quantum and there's a lot of you get interdicted or something and you get pulled out of quantum. That's, you know, the quantum HUD's sitting there as you're cooling down and you need to use your normal HUD, but hopefully they'll adjust that. I think they're working on the actual HUDs for everything. Anyway, so what you can do is, you know, just quantum over to Lorville.
Quantum travel initiated.
And what it'll do is it'll whip you around the planet real quick. If for some reason it doesn't let you do that because it says you're obstructed or something, there are orbital markers around that you can kind of move yourself around the planet that way.
Quantum travel complete.
Oh, the delivery dropped off is on the outskirts of the city, which might make it quicker. What you're gonna want to do is head right down there. Be careful when flying through the city. There's a no-fly zone, which if you fly into it, it should steer you out of it, but it, you know, if you stay in it too long, your ship blows up. Or at least there used to be. They may have eliminated that for all I know. Suppose you get close, make sure you remember to put down your landing gear. Back out of the throttle. Yeah, I think that may have actually, yeah, overrode my, approach. I got into a no-fly zone, apparently. Okay, so it's telling you that it's a restricted area ahead, which what we're gonna try. Yeah, it's taking me out, so we're gonna have to land here and then just hoof it over there. So what we'll do is we'll just land here.
Proximity alert deck. Proximity alert deck. Proximity alert deck.
Hopefully we're not landing in a tree. I didn't think to look. A couple of prickly pear cactuses I can live with, but tree, not so good for the ship. Alright, so now that we're here, we're gonna turn the engine off, and I'm actually gonna use game glass to do that just because it's a little easier.
Engines offline.
Pick this guy up and exit my ship. That is a bit of a haul. It's unfortunate that you can't park any closer. You just get to see me running with a giant package. We'll get there, I promise. I think it's neat that the package looks about the same as the backpack that I'm wearing. Looks like it's made by the same people. Alright, we'll get there. Now, if you have any sort of ground transportation, that would be handy. So if you have a ship that can carry a speeder bike or whatever, even a gray cat I think would be faster if you have one of those. But considering we had no money at all, aside from the little bit we had left over, plus that 500 credits we got from taking out that pirate, this should help. I mean, this definitely add to our reserves. And, you know, if you can string a few of these together, because they're all located in the same general vicinity, you'll be able to build up your credits pretty quick. To a point where you might be able to start doing some hauling missions with the 8 SCU you have on your ship, which isn't a ton. So you'd have to find some cargo that's worthwhile. You could also do some of the investigation missions, which will allow you to go into caves, and that will give you the opportunity to get hand mineable stuff, which sells for a decent price. All right, here we are. Alright, so that opens up, and then you just place it in there. Alright, and we just completed a contract to deliver that package and got a good 6,000 credits. So after buying what we bought and flying one mission, we're back up to over 7,000 credits, which is more than what we started with. So not a bad deal. I think if you can string a few of these together, it'll definitely help you out as far as efficiency goes. But you string a few of these together, and you can start to get to a point where you might be able to rent a better ship or a bigger ship to do cargo hauling and that sort of thing. Maybe grab a Cutlass or Freelancer. But we'll look into that. But for now, just being able to do a few of these will build up some currency and get you in a good place to be able to go in whatever direction you want to go, whether it's mining or transport or mercenary type, bounty hunting type things. So that's it. So that's going to be my first episode of this Let's Play. Again, like I said, I wanted to see if I could do some progressive type of play, being that in this Alpha 3.8 environment, they shouldn't be resetting our currency and possessions from minor patch to minor patch. See if we can get some progression involved and actually kind of string together some form of a real Let's Play. So thanks for watching. I appreciate any views that I get, and I appreciate any feedback that anybody has. And again, if you want to see anything in the game, please let me know. For any multiplayer type of content, I might pull in my org mate Merrick, who is willing to help out in that regard. Not that there's a ton of multiplayer content, but we might be able to look at that 890 jump mission or whatever. So anyway, thanks for watching, and appreciate any feedback that you might have. If you like what you're seeing, consider hitting the subscribe button and consider hitting a like. Thank you. This is Pid TMS signing off.